Fucking sucks. What's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Tio, yes, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the AshenLuca. It's me. I'm here with another episode of the show, and this week we are in mourning. We are discussing a couple of things that happened, including the sweet baby ink situation, the gift that keeps on giving, and the passing of Akira Toriyama Sensei, who was the creator of a staple in the industry, actually a staple of my childhood, actually. And you know, it sucks, man. It really does suck. It sucks. And it's like it's one of those things where it's like the Miura sensei first, like, and these creators, they're just going so young, like relatively young, if you really think about it. And it just goes back to how the industry is just awful to its creatives. Like the deadlines that they put, the stress that these mangaka are under, and the animators for these studios as well. Oh, I don't even understand, man. Okay, but anyway, here's Singer's here, and so is Slow Mo.
I am here, and if you get the chance, read Oda's and Hishimoto's tributes to Toriyama.
Yeah,
Because
oh,
if you didn't know, obviously Naruto and Bleach and
One
One
Piece
Piece, like they all like
inspired by Toriyama, man.
yep,
We
Toriyama
wouldn't
did it
have
all.
those amazing series without Toriyama. People don't understand the impact that this man has had on art. They don't get it, man. I mean, they get
and
it, but they
and
don't
and
get it.
it's more than just like manga and anime. Like it's his impact in other forms of media that he didn't, some that he did kind of touch, like with video games. But even you see some of how other people, like say in Hollywood and just live action movies, said that they felt like Dragon Ball was an influence in how they wanted to shoot a certain scene and stuff like that. Like that's how big his imprint was on the medium, on art itself. And that's like not too many people can say they did that in their lifetime, that they really had that kind of impact on so many different people in so many different ways.
This man changed my life. And what's up, Nautical?
Yo, yo, yo.
This
I
man,
mean, he changed literally everyone's, and
I,
in fact, if
I
you
feel
follow
like.
me, oh, go on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Obviously, Chrono Trigger, Dragon Quest,
Yes.
like the the team up of how Chrono Trigger came about with Toriyama. Can't remember the other two. The guy who did Dragon Quest and the guy who did Final Fantasy, and the three of them teamed up and created Chrono Trigger. Now you can understand why it's one of the greatest games of all time, because you have
Mm-hmm.
these three people just all team up. Like it's a dream team to create a game. Um, so you had that, and then all the inspiration. Obviously, everyone watched. Most people probably here have watched Dragon Ball when they were younger. They turned on the TV, right? Come home from school, you go watch Dragon Ball, and it's across the board. And it's worldwide as well. Like his impact is everywhere. You had football clubs doing tributes. You had football players, very big ones.
I think you
Everyone.
had some world leaders too
Yep.
making
You had.
statements as well.
Yep. It's you had the Foreign Affairs Minister of China paying tribute. You had it because it went beyond the manga. Dragon Ball is pop icon. It's just popular culture at this point. Everyone knows it. Sonic. Oh, did you see the Sonic tribute as
I
well?
did. I did see the
Because
Sonic. Oh
Sonic
God.
drew inspiration from Dragon Ball. You had who else? I'm trying to think of Tekken. The dude who created Tekken, he did. because it's all across the board. So naturally, everyone universally came out, and then you had. I know you'll get into it later, but the dingus from Sweet Baby Inc.
Oh, getting cucked 100%. We're discussing
Yo,
it. We're
yo,
discussing it. But
'cause that is go on.
okay, so I want to talk about what Dragon Ball did for me. I grew up during that era, 90s, early 2000s era. I am a 90s baby through and through, right? So I grew up, and my first anime ever was Sailor Moon. It was Sailor Moon, okay? But it was also the second one I saw, second anime, was Dragon Ball. It was Dragon Ball. And then, Dragon Ball Z, the continuation. And every single day during elementary school, and I would come home from school, and I would have to hide basically, because my mom was like, I don't want you watching that, that violence on TV. I don't want you watching that. But I would turn on the TV after school before my mom got home, and I remember being on the couch sitting there watching Goku turn into a Super Saiyan for the first time. I was a kid sitting there watching Goku turn into it, and it was the coolest thing ever. I remember Kamehameha, I would do that on the schoolyard. The Kamehameha. I would pretend I was charging up because I wanted to turn into a Saiyan. I wanted to be a fighter. And to this day still, Dragon Ball is relevant because of Dragon Ball Super. Shout out to Dragon Ball Evolution for bringing Toriyama out of retirement. Blessed be, right? And I'm looking at my Dragon Ball Super manga, just sitting over there, and I still keep up with the series to this day. It's evolved in such a fantastic way, and my mom knows who Goku is. My mom doesn't know anything about anime, man, but she knows who Goku is. I asked my coworker, doesn't know anything about anime. I was like, bro, you know who Goku is? I know who Goku is. It's Goku! I would say that just like you ask somebody who Superman is, people know who Superman is. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Dragon Ball is like the one anime where maybe if people don't know what the name is, they at least be like, oh yeah, Goku. Yeah, Goku. You know? And so it's just like hearing this news it broke my heart, honestly speaking. And I knew what was gonna come. Obviously, there's always gonna be some contrarian out there, someone who wants to just be a little cheeky, wants to be an asshat, right? Because it happened when Kobe passed away. It happened when Chester Bennington passed away. There's always somebody just coming out to say something, right? It happened when Miura Sensei passed away. And my thing is, it's a matter of respect, you know? You gotta realize that there is a time and place for everything. And the fact that there were people out there, it wasn't even a full 24 hours. There were people out there who want to bring up controversy in order to throw dirt on someone who just passed name, knowing that there are millions of people out there genuinely hurt, genuinely heartbroken because of the lasting impact that this man's creations has had on all of us. And again, it is not just because of Dragon Ball. We wouldn't have Naruto. We wouldn't have One Piece. We wouldn't have Bleach. The staple, the DBZ, Naruto, Bleach, original big three, One Piece,
One
of course,
Piece.
of course. The staples of the fucking community. Without DBZ, we wouldn't have so many other series have spawned off of Naruto and Bleach and One Piece. it's just like this domino effect of creativity, of inspiration. And again, I wouldn't if it wasn't for that Toonami block, man, where it was Sailor Moon, DBZ, Rurouni Kenshin, Gundam Wing, G Gundam, Zoids, Tenchi fucking Muyo, dude. You know? And then of course Adult Swim came, called saw Full Metal Alchemist, Big O, Samurai Champloo. DBZ came on late night as well, you know? I remember being in my room. Oh, I had like this 10-inch TV, guys. Like it was so small. And I remember staying up late when my mom and my family was asleep, and I would turn the TV on and I would watch Adult Swim. And I didn't care about like I didn't care about the other stuff, right? I just was like, I want to watch fucking anime. Inuyasha? You know? I want to watch some fucking anime. I would stay up late just watching these series because it just like if there's one thing, one hobby that I am still extremely passionate about to this day, it is that genre. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, and again, it's just like fucking Miura. You know what I'm saying? Miura just the impact Miura had. Oh man, like it fucking sucks, dude. Like this sucks. And again, it's like 68 is not that old, dude. It really isn't. Like I feel like people should be living till their 80s at least, you know? But it's like those health issues because of the fucking stress that is put on that industry. It's awful. And it's like I say I'm 30 years old and I say this, the what you do when you're younger has long-term effects that you're not even going to be aware of until you're older. It sucks, man. And again, it's a matter of timing, you know? And that Sweet Baby Inc. Employee, they came through, they just got their account back. They already were part of a controversy a week ago in which they were rallying their supporters to ban or attempt to ban an account, to flag an account because someone made that Sweet Baby Ink detector, right? And this person decided to come on after they got their account back, right? They decided to come through and be like, "Hey guys, I'm going to bring up something. I'm gonna bring up something that can put Toriyama in a negative light." And it feels it's the timing. You know what I'm saying? And it just comes off as petty and malicious. And I'm just like, dude, it's a social faux pas. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't you can't do stuff like that and expect people to like you're gonna get jumped, man. You're gonna get jumped, and I don't feel bad for you at all. Like there was someone who also made a comment, and I'll tell you guys what the comment is. Right now, I'll be clear here. There are racist caricatures in Dragon Ball, and I'm not talking about Mr. Popo because apparently Mr. Popo is based off some
like an Indian god or something.
yeah. But there have been like other instances, right? But at the same time, we also have to be aware of the time frame where these characters existed. You know? When it comes to stereotypes and when it comes to sexism, racism, homophobia, cartoons of old, TV of old, movies of old, media of old, they are reflections of the time. And we have to be aware of that. It's been like 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, all right, no, I definitely understand. I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with what you said, but it's the timing. And it's the fact that you decide to fix your mouth to say this shit when everybody is still fucking upset about the fact that Toriyama passed. You know what I'm saying? It's all a matter of context. And if you do stuff like this, it makes you look bad. And it makes people don't want to see race baiting or race wars or any of that shit when they're already upset. They don't want to see that shit, man. But basically, Kiss Kindred said Toriyama gave us the best and worst black characters in anime in the same series. It took range to do that. Literally, why? Like,
So it's a kind of disgusting comment to make the day that someone dies.
it's
The thing
fucking
is-
disgusting.
The thing, he is incredibly lucky no one has his IP address, because he would be in danger of
I
his
think
life.
some
Not that we're
people-
advocating that.
No,
I
not that
think
we're
some people
advocating
probably
it.
do, and I agree with Luca. Yeah, we're not
We're not
advocating that.
advocating it, but like the timing of it, there are some crazy people out there. So
There are crazy fucking people out there. And
and bear in
again,
mind,
go ahead, go
Can
ahead.
I say that?
Oh,
Like, I don't like Mr. Popo, even though it's supposed to be depicting like an Indian god, just based off of what we have as Black people have had to deal with when it comes to those kind of those characters in media and cartoons and just like in history. I don't care what it really was supposed to be, because that Dragon Ball isn't just in Japan, it's all over. And so and the reason why so many like depictions of Black people are so disrespectful is that like what Disney was doing was also spread to other regions of the world as well. All that said, if Akira Toriyama created Mr. Popo last week, okay, give him the smoke. But that was like literally 40 years ago. And if you look at more recent like designs of Black people that he created,
Exactly.
they're far better done, far more respectful. Like, this is where you could separate the people who are full of it and the people who are really genuinely like have an issue with something. Because if you really cared to find out what he was doing, you would have gone and did the 5 seconds of research that would it took you to see that he grew as an artist. And you can't basically demonize somebody for their entire life over something they did 40 years ago if they are doing better things today. So regardless of how anybody feels about Mr. Popo or any of the other depictions that he may have made in art nearly 50, half a century ago, what was he doing before he died? Because that's what's important. It's not important that well, at one point in time he did this, so for forever I'm just going to look at him in this light. Like, that shows a lack of maturity, and it shows a lack of actually showing that you really care about the things that you claim you care about. Because if you really only wanted to see people do better, and then you see him do better, but you don't care that he did better, you're a fraud.
Exactly. You're a baiter. You are a race baiter. You don't actually care about the topic at all. You just want to get attention, because that's all that matters to you, is getting attention. I can't stand people who are not fucking genuine when it comes to these kinds of issues, because you can tell people who are genuine versus people who are not. AKA, hey, give me a PlayStation, hashtag Breonna Taylor, if we remember that bitch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell a difference between someone who's genuine versus the people who are not. And then every time you bring up stuff like this and you make it clear where your position is, there's always that, what do you mean you can't? I don't have any real argument. I'm not going to listen to anything you actually have to say. I'm just going to call you a coon. Because it's easier for me. Because I lack the ability to comprehend basic shit. To form a basic argument against anything. So, this fucking asshat decided to do this social faux pas. They decided to say this nasty shit. And guess what? Apparently their account got suspended.
Again?
Oh, yeah. Sucks to suck. They got it back, and then they went private. And again, it's just kind of like, well, what did
So they can keep saying the same foolishness that got them suspended in the first place without people reporting them.
Like,
they never learn.
They don't learn. This person and all the people who share the same ideology, they are perpetual fucking victims. And I don't feel bad for them. I'm not rallied to the cause. And unlike a bunch of losers out there, you can't fucking gaslight me. I know where I stand when it comes to my morals. I know where I stand where it comes to my ethics. And I know how I feel about these topics. And I've made it clear how I feel about these topics, right? You can't fucking gaslight me. You can't threaten and say, I'm going to cancel you. Because that's what these fucking cancel cucks do. You can't do that with me because I know where I stand and I know how I feel. So, again, and it wasn't just this idiot over here because they are dumb because it's like, what did you expect to happen? You know, first of all, people don't even like you in the first place because of that shit from last week. And you want to come out and say this when there are people across ethnicities, fucking nationalities who are mourning, who are still mourning. Neo was a fucking mess on Twitter. A mess. And he wasn't the only one. Did you get what you wanted? You got your fucking attention. Good for you. And then there was some other person. And again, I don't advocate for any sort of like fat phobia. And this person's like non-binary or something, right? They came out and they fixed their mouth to be like this person over here, this Chris person, and to make a disparaging comment against Toriyama. Essentially, they're just like, why are you saying rest in power for someone who made racist caricatures? I'm like, again, context, time. You guys have to know how to understand these things, and it really comes down to like people don't want to accept that as humans we make mistakes, and as humans we have the capacity and ability to grow as people. You know what I'm saying? There are tons of people who are like that. So this person made a comment like that, and because of how they look, they are getting verbally accosted, verbally dragged up and down. And again, I can't really say I don't feel bad for them because I'm like, dude, what were you expecting? You got to know what's going to come. When you say something like that, again, people don't even want to do, they don't want to do the race discussions in general, right? You got to know what to expect when it's like the day of, not even a full 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? It's just insensitive and it's disgusting because if you actually cared about this topic, it would have been something that you would discuss before Toriyama passed away. Guys.
Agreed. Yeah, like if you never brought this up before he died, so you're basically saying you're only really talking about this because everyone's talking about this person who passed away. Therefore, you're just looking for attention.
Just looking for attention. You are a nasty person, and it's not because of who you are. It's not because of how you look. It's not because of your gender identity or your sexuality. You're a nasty person because you thought that it was wise to start discourse, not even 24 hours into people finding out that someone that they all looked up to passed away. You get what you deserve, honestly speaking. And that person also had to make their account private. Like, one thing about me, I stand by what I say, but I'm also really mindful of how social media is. I'm also mindful the reason why I didn't start showing myself fully on camera is because I was like, y'all not about to jump me, all right? Because everything about you can be used against you. You know what I'm saying? So if you say something that people don't like, the first thing they're gonna do is go after how you look. That's just a fucking fact. Or if they know that you're a chick, gender-based insult, sexualized insults, you know? So you gotta be really mindful and very self-aware before you start any sort of back and forth with anybody. And I think that when it comes to the social media age, the age of clout, people cannot help themselves. They're so obsessed with getting that next click of they're so obsessed with getting those views that they don't consider the consequences of their actions. They don't stop and think like, if I do this, what could be the possible reaction? No one people don't do that. And then they, a shocked fucking Pikachu face when they come out and people are fucking pissed. And it's like, dude, what did you expect? You can't just go around saying whatever you want and expecting things to be fucking Gucci. You gotta be self-aware. You can't play the fucking victim while attacking. And I've been saying that for years now. You cannot play the victim while attacking. If you are the aggressor, I don't feel fucking bad for you when you get jumped. I don't. I don't. I mean, depending on the topic, depending on the context, obviously, right? There's nuance when it comes to a lot of these conversations. But most of the time, I'm like, oh, sucks to suck, huh? What did you expect to happen? I can't stand a fucking perpetual victim, dude. I can't stand people who weaponize their identity in order to get sympathy points from people. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. And it's sad. And I don't feel bad. And you can't gaslight me. I'm just again, I'm not even angry because I expected this to happen. When it comes to this kind of stuff, you just know. Clout chaser is gonna clout. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad about it. I'm just kind of like, oh well, okay, it is what it is. Of course, like there are lines to it. Obviously, there are certain things that, no matter what, I'm not gonna be okay with. You know what I'm saying? Like slurs, I'm never gonna be okay with that, right? Um, uh, threats of violence or sexual violence, that is, I'm never gonna be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? But, like, generally speaking, you get if you get I mean, you get roasted, you get roasted, like, damn, sucks to suck, man. Uh, it is what it is. You you gotta lay in the bed that you made, and nobody fucking likes a perpetual victim, especially when there are real fucking issues going on, and I feel like when it comes to a lot of these people, again, like, that Sweet Baby Inc. employee, I just don't feel bad for them at all. I mean, like, dude, you did this on purpose to get attention. You're a cuck. I don't feel bad for you. And I feel like I should say this. There are some people who are I did not explain my point well enough last week. Either I didn't explain it well enough or they are conflating my perspective into other people's perspectives. First of all, slow mo.
Hmm.
What's the definition of What's the definition of the word consultation?
Of what? What's the word?
Consultation?
Consultation.
Yeah.
Well, you are giving your expertise. You are giving your professional opinion on something, so that they can take that and then use that towards whatever thing they're doing. If I said that correctly.
You did. You did. There are some people out there that think that some of us are so fucking stupid that we don't know what that means. Just because someone is consulting on something doesn't mean they are the what is the word? Arbiter? They're not the ones who are making the final fucking judgment call. They're not
Mhm.
the hey, I get the final say on it. All these ideas are coming solely from this group. They're not the arbiter, right? Now, there are some people who seem to believe that Sweet Baby Inc., they're the reasons why some of the games that people enjoy and some of the games people don't enjoy feature certain content, right? And I'm like, I don't think
Mhm.
that's the case at all. I think that they came in and they offered their perspective, they offered their opinion. They didn't do a very good job when it came to overseeing certain things because there are some elements
Mhm.
of certain games that can come off as pandering and cringy, right? But at the end of the day, these corporations are the ones who wanted this stuff in their games. They wanted it so they can fucking hit their margins.
So they can get promoted
Diversity, exactly.
by certain investment groups, and if they hit all the correct check marks. And it's,
Exactly.
I think last week we talked about a lot of the examples that we brought up about things that we did not like from games that Sweet Baby had consulted on were examples of bad writing. And bad writing in those games, it's not like those are the only games that I've ever had bad writing in gaming. I mean, come on, like we play plenty of games where the writing stinks.
And I
But
also said, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
but if you're consulting, right, and you're trying to create diversity and inclusion, don't you want to do a good job? Like, so in some of the examples from Spider-Man 2 that we brought up last week, I I don't know everything that they worked on in Spider-Man 2, but I can give the example of the mission with Haley, Miles's deaf girlfriend. I thought that mission was done well because here's a
I agree.
mission. You are actually not just in her shoes where you're controlling the character, but you can't hear the same way that she can. Like you literally have the sound muted in games to kind of simulate what she goes through on a day-to-day basis. I thought that was well thought out versus the Brooklyn Visions example we brought up last week, where that's just like, it doesn't make any sense. It's a poorly designed side quest, and you just kind of threw it in there. Like, those are the kind of things that if you're going to be consulting on these games, I expect, like, not saying that you can force Insomniac to not do the mission, but like that you should be on the side of like, this is really not that good. Yeah, we want you to have this kind of content in here, but the way you have this depicted looks bad. It's going to play bad, and people aren't going to like it. There are going to be people who already aren't going to like the fact that you're putting this in the game in the first place. You adding in a poorly created mission is only going to make that worse and give them an excuse to complain about it. And it's like, if you are being ineffective in getting these developers, who we all know are 95% one specific demographic of Caucasian and male, and really probably don't really care about a lot of these things in the first place. If this is already the people that you're working with, and you're being ineffective in doing so, then like, there's nothing wrong with us calling that out, that you are ineffective in your job. And maybe what we don't need is, even though you're always going to have consultants, maybe what we don't need is more consultants, but more people actually being on these narrative teams and these game design teams in the actual developer making those decisions. But like, that's a conversation that involves far more nuance and far more like actual critical thinking than what we get from both sides, honestly.
I agree.
Okay.
And again, as far as we know, they could have mentioned it. And they could have said, like, hey, I don't know about these missions, but it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, just because someone is coming in and consulting on something doesn't necessarily that they're going to listen to them 100% of the time. We don't know.
Right.
All we know is what is in the description of what they do. You know what I'm saying? They
Mhm.
mention diversity and inclusion as being part of their core directives. You know what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, we can make an assumption, which, you know, as of you and me, whatever, whatever, right? We can make an assumption of what angles and what parts of the story they may have consulted on. But again, at least I'm not saying it's solely Sweet Baby Inc.'s fault that some of these games have certain issues. Again, because I think I said it in some video that Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights, any sort of like whatever diversity those games may or may not have, least of those games fucking problems. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
that is not the issue with those two games. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the
Right.
issue. And it's like people also they want to ignore the games that were successful. I mean, Sweet Baby Inc. also neglects to mention the games that were not successful on their main page, right? But they were also a part of God of War Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2, which however you guys may feel about those games and certain elements of those games are successful. Those games are highly rated, and Spider-Man 2 especially
Mhm.
sold extremely well. And then using Spider-Man 2 as an example, the 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 employees at Insomniac literally were just like, "We don't fucking care that we made Mary Jane OP. We don't care that
Right.
y'all don't like it. We did it because we wanted to do it."
Yeah, I
Those
don't
were the
blame that on
actual
Sweet Baby.
employees.
I blame that on Insomniac's dumb director. You know, because clearly
Exactly.
you just basically told us that, and you didn't even defend the Mary Jane missions from the first game. So you're also implying that you know those missions stink. They stink. You know we didn't like them, and you doubled down anyway. So yeah, that's on you.
They were
And
just like,
so
"You
all
bigots." I'm sorry.
so all the complaints from Mary Jane, you know, basically taking on the entire game by herself with her OP, stun gun, and taking on a whole base full of hunters by herself, taking them all out. Zero only did a boot camp of training with Silver Sable for a weekend. Oh, now all of a sudden she could take out a whole group of trained killers all by herself. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's on them. That's on Insomniac. That's not on Sweet Baby. Clearly.
Clearly. And it's again, I just feel like some people are just conflating the issues and they are taking our perspective and saying like, okay, we think that I personally I wouldn't blame solely them. I'm just saying like perhaps they came in and there are certain elements and again, there are certain elements in God of War Ragnarok where I'm just like, I don't like that. I don't really like that. Freya? Now,
Yeah.
now listen,
Yeah,
Freya.
I don't know what happened to Kratos where he takes that kind of talk from anybody and he don't end up, decapitating them or something. Like I'm just like,
I understand. I understand growth, but she was, and I understand why she was upset. Don't get me wrong, but her basically saying like, "Oh, I could kill you, I could beat you," and I was just like, "If you don't get the fuck away from me, woman, get away from me,
right.
okay?" Like, I just personally was not a fan of that aspect of the storytelling. I understand why it is in there, and I understand that Kratos had growth as a person, as a character. He has softened, after he decided to destroy the entire Greek fucking pantheon. He was like, you know what? Perhaps I need to change as a person. I understand. Okay, I get it. And I understand that she was still upset. She was still mad. She was losing her shit. I get it. I just personally was just not a fan of that certain element, all right? And I wasn't a fan of them cucking Peter in Spider-Man 2, okay? I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't a fan, spoilers for Spider-Man 2, of Mary Jane
It's been
taking a
out long
hit
enough.
for Peter when one of the Venom symbiote attacked. I'm just like, okay, like, who's the one with the
How, how,
powers here?
how about Peter telling Miles, "Oh wow, you got one of your villains to reconcile and be a better person. I've never got done that." And it's like Tombstone is in this game.
I know.
who has been rehabilitated and working at the carnival. Like, who wrote this?
Just talking to talk, man.
It's
Just fucking talking to
just
talk,
throwing
dude.
lines in there that don't make sense.
They're just like, they didn't even consult with one another. They're like, yeah, we're gonna put this. And I was just like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know about any of that. Yeah, there's just certain elements. Like I said, they cucked Peter in Spider-Man 2. Okay, I didn't like that. Was not a fan of that. All right. But overall, I do like Spider-Man 2 and God of War Ragnarok as games. Like, I understand why they're so highly rated, but again, there are just certain elements I wasn't a fan of. Now, there are other titles, I don't know anything about those other titles, okay, that they're a part of. But again, when it comes to Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights, any sort of diversity, that was not the fucking issue with those games. Now, Saints Row had a slew of issues, okay? It had a slew of issues. And,
I played the game. The controls are terrible.
oh, well,
I
that
mean,
sucks.
absolutely awful shooting mechanics. I have no idea how that they thought that was good to release like that.
Oh,
But
well,
yeah, that was my biggest issue with it. I gave it a shot. I had to quit maybe like 30 minutes in. Wasn't even the trash, dialogue, and then not feeling like Saints Row. I just couldn't deal with the terrible
just
gameplay.
just couldn't do it, yeah. I mean, okay, we've been talking a lot, Singer, Nautical, do you guys have anything to add on this matter?
I was just gonna circle back to Toriyama.
Go ahead, let's go back to Toriyama Sensei.
All right. Share my screen real quick.
Yeah. Okay, oh, let me get these super chats, though. Shout out to Meat Puppet saying, Akira Toriyama, who's that? Just kidding, R.I.P. R.I.P. to the king. Shout out to Black Metal Gamer saying cancel culture is commie culture straight up. And Rome saying they contributed by also doing writing for games. All right, all right. Okay. You want to go ahead and make that a little bit bigger?
You need to zoom in a bit more. All right.
If you want to zoom into the actual parts that are written on the statements.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say that is like grown man cried.
Yes. So,
Here's Shida. Here's
oh,
Oda's.
so Oda Sensei says the hole is too big. The thought of never seeing you again fills me with sadness. I admired you so much when I was a child, and I even remember the day you called me by my name for the first time. I also miss the day when I had a great time with Mr. Kishimoto on the way home from the day he used the word friend for us. I also remember the last conversation we had. He is one of the people who took the baton from the era when reading manga would make you stupid and created an era where both adults and children read and enjoy manga. He showed us the dream that manga can do things like this and that we can go to the world. He gave it to me. It was like watching a hero push forward. The excitement he experienced when he serialized Dragon Ball is probably rooted in the childhoods of creators who are active in all industries, exactly, not just manga artists. That existence is a great is that a tree? A great tree for manga artists for of my generation who have stood on the same stage. The closer I got to Toriyama's works, the more I realized that they had a greater presence. So scary, but I'm just happy to see the easygoing man himself again because we love Toriyama Sensei on a blood level. I would like to express my respect and gratitude to the world of creativity left behind by Professor Toriyama and pray for his repose and peace. I hope that heaven will be a pleasant world just as you envisioned it. Now,
Damn.
I did want to say this. There are some issues with Oda Sensei as a person. God forbid when he passes on the things that people are going to be saying. And you know what? I'm not going to be disagreeing with the shit that's going to
Like
come out about him. But I do
I
appreciate this I'm sorry, go ahead.
I can't zoom in anymore on that for some reason. It's not working. You'd have to get it, but go over there to discuss the film because they have both of them. Check it out because it's like Grumman cried. Like I know loads of people who did because this is like his entire childhood, and as you saw from Oda, what Toriyama meant to him, and what Oda and One Piece means to a lot of people, and then it's like you can see the chain. And then, of course, Toriyama is one of the rare people who was able to have two excellent ones. Because before Dragon Ball, he made Dr. Slump, and that was a fire hit. So he managed to make 2-hit manga series back to back. Didn't miss, no misses, all hits. So it was crazy, and I now wonder what they're gonna do with Dragon Quest, because as everyone knows, because Dragon Quest, the next Dragon Quest, I'm assuming will be his last game he worked on. So I don't know if they're gonna change stuff or keep his art in there, try to emulate the style of his art, or just I don't know. That's a difficult thing. Plus, also that Sandland game and the new Dragon Ball game, they're gonna sell gangbusters because it's his last works. Obviously, after these 2 games and the next Dragon Quest, that's it. So it's gonna be interesting how this goes down. But hey, he inspired my childhood. Coming home from school, you watch Dragon Ball. Everyone, you do Kamehameha in school. Everyone tried it. Don't lie. I know most of you in the chat tried it as well in school. Everyone wanted to be Goku.
I still want to be Goku. That's my dude.
Yeah,
I love
still want to be
Goku.
Goku too. Like Goku is just a legendary character, and he was like even he united all of Mexico. That was a great scene when everyone in Mexico grouped up just to watch it live, the Dragon Ball, as they put it on the big screen to see what happened next. There was no kids, it was all adults. Everyone came out, and it was like, doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your location. Dragon Ball speaks to everyone. So, yeah, shout out to
It does.
Toriyama.
I agree. I definitely agree. And I appreciate all kinds of art, but I especially appreciate art that can transcend barriers. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is. There's something about this series. There's something about several of the series that Toriyama's worked on. It just transcends time. I appreciate what he gave us. What about you, Nautical? Do you have any thoughts on Toriyama or the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy?
That's Sweet Baby. That's just stupid at this point. Yeah, that irritated me as soon as I saw it. But oh man, I was there day one when Dragon Ball released. It was wow. I remember yelling at the screen, like, how long are we going to hold this spirit bomb? Is it going to be 7 episodes? That's what but guess what? When I came back every day, every week, every time, knowing that something was going to happen that was going to blow my mind in that show, all the way through the Vegeta sagas, to the Frieza, to
the what sagas?
What did I say?
I don't know. I couldn't hear you.
No, what did I say?
You said something saga.
What did I say?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, unless you could remind me what I said, I'm not saying again.
So he's talking the Saiyan saga.
The Saiyan. I know exactly.
Saga,
I know what he was waiting for me to do, but I'm not. Slow-mo is about to entrap me in these. Yes, the Saiyan sagas, but he wasn't about to entrench me into some crap. Like, I don't know, what did you say? No, we ain't doing this. I'm not like these normal people, these idiots on Twitter that's just gonna pounce and be like, yes, Slow-mo, I said this. No, it was me and my brother, like like you said, Singer, man, we was practicing throwing spirit bombs, and how many is at each other.
Excuse me? Kamehameha?
Kamehameha?
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure I heard you properly. Yeah,
man, Stephen A. Forte over here.
Well, that ain't nothing new.
Bajita.
There ain't nothing to do. We live on that one. But no, it's disappointing. We found out during DPS, towards the end of the show, that it happened, and that was something that was very, very impactful. Even if you were a person that, like, I'm not even a huge anime person, but that's the one that mostly everybody cared about, and the fact that
Exactly.
anybody like Goku is just so identifiable to a lot of people. People know who Vegeta is, and people know who all these characters are, and it was something that brought. I remember going to the movies to go see it with people that I've never would ever go to the movies go see stuff with, just because of a common goal and stuff. It was pretty crazy, but it's gonna be. Where's it going to go from here? I mean, I have faith that it's going to continue being as good as it is. But in general, it's such a loss. And I agree with you. 68 is still too young for stuff like this to happen. And
do we know I mean, I know how he died, like the head injury, but do you know how he got the head injury?
They did. I don't think they said.
No, they didn't say.
You probably will never know that either, honestly.
But on a
But-
side note, you can watch, and if you haven't, check out Dr. Slump, because it's an anime form and manga form. But if you're a fan of Toriyama and his work and Dragon Ball, check out Dr. Slump, because it's fire. And without that, he wouldn't have made Dragon Ball. So check it out, because it's really, really, really good. It's a bit dated. It's obviously back in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, but check it out, because it is really good.
Mm.
I have faith in Toyotaro. He is doing a fantastic job with the artwork for Super, especially. It's so good. But a shout out to Lionel saying slap the like button like you're slapping some Stella yams. Shout out to all the Stella
Yams.
What is that? Stellar. Oh my God. Stellar Blade. Oh my. The fact that I was still thinking Stellar Yams, because that's all I ever hear.
That's all it is. It's nothing more. It's nothing other than that.
But yes. But what's up, Sega and Gleek? Oh my goodness. Geekhead, Gaz, Lionel, Tando, Crispy, Iman, Gregor, Phil, Hurricane, Ramon, Ray, Xboxer Mike, Albert, E-Head, Greatest, Dorian, Vac, Black Metal Gamer, Arcade, True Virgil, Michael. What's up, guys? How are y'all doing this fine evening? Thank you so much for joining us in this memorial for Toriyama Sensei, and also with us discussing all of the bullshit with the Sweet Baby ink and everything. Appreciate you guys being here. What's up, Dion? What's up, buddy? What's up, Phil? Tando? What's up? What's up?
On the side note, I'm gonna start replaying Chrono Trigger, because
me too. That's my favorite game of all time.
And I want to see Toriyama, and it really has to be one of the best games of all time. There's no way. The amount of talent going into that game is insane. We'll probably never see that again in gaming. I don't think. I don't think
so.
A level of.
I mean, thinking of how innovative that game was for its time. You got a game where I don't want to. There's some people who may want to still play it, so maybe I just won't say.
The game is like
some things,
90 years old at this point.
No, don't spoil it.
No, I'm not gonna spoil, because with Akira Toriyama dying, there may be some people who want to try it out. But like, how in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth they got the synergies, they added the synergy system that really like enhanced the gameplay. Like the very first game that I ever played that had anything like that was Chrono Trigger. With the combo attacks with your characters, like that's just how iconic. This is a game that like one of the very first games that really did time travel and did it well. Like that game, the game's amazing. It's one of the best games ever, and
It really is.
If you if you haven't played it before, you should play the game.
Yes,
Like
you
you
definitely.
should. It's like well, you know how people say there's necessary reading. If you're a book reader, you know there's necessary reading. These are certain books you should always read. There's certain games that you should always play, and I think Chrono Trigger is one of those games.
Yeah, I missed
The
that
thing
one.
about Chrono Trigger is a must play because you have to understand how monumental it is. You have Sakaguchi, who created Final Fantasy, the creator, the guy who thought of it all. But then you had Yuji Horii, creator of Dragon Quest. Then you throw Toriyama in the mix for his character design and everything, and you just have the dream perfection of what a JRPG or just an RPG is in general. Because like there is no way you'll ever get a combination like that again, and that's why it's sad. Because Dragon Quest will no longer have his art. No game will have his art now. So I mean, I don't know how Dragon Quest is getting that, but definitely play Chrono Trigger. It's super cheap, and play it because if you're a gamer, you deserve to play this game because it is a masterpiece. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree, Slomo?
Oh yeah, it's one of the best games ever. It's my favorite game of all time. I say I feel like I say that on a podcast once a month, but it's an awesome game. It's an awesome game. You can play it on your phone. You can play it on literally. This is the one game that's like I think is available on every single gaming platform in existence. So, like, you got no excuses.
All right. Shout out to Blade X saying I love DBZ. R.I.P. Toriyama is my goat. And I also wanted to show off this particular piece of artwork here, the legendary TheAshenLuca. This I can tell you, this is the first piece of artwork that Gregor did for me. And it was right after I saw the legendary Super Saiyan Brawly movie, right? Or Brawly. What the fuck is that movie called? The one that came out in 2017, 2018? Oh, Dragon Ball Super Brawly. It was after I saw the Dragon Ball Super Brawly movie, right? And I specifically was like, can somebody is there any artists out there who can make me some Dragon Ball art? Like just let me know because I would love to get some Dragon Ball art. And Gregor was like, oh, here you go. Gifted me with this fantastic image here. And as you guys can see on the right-hand side, the rest is fucking history. It's just in the thread of all the artwork that he's done for me. It's not even all the artwork he's done for me, but this is the first piece of artwork that he did for me. And it was Dragon Ball related.
What was the game with the hot dogs as hands?
Oh, that was oh Lord.
What was that food?
What was that game?
Wasn't it? Oh, was it? What was it? It wasn't Bug Snacks, was it?
It was Bug Snacks.
Oh, it was Bug Snacks?
Yeah, it was
oh
Bug
my
Snacks.
God.
The top one, that's for Dark Souls, and then Bug Snacks, General Luca one, Homelander, that was the one at the bottom is a Mario themed icon, and then there's Pennywise. Yeah. Below that is The Witcher. Next to that is Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Just insanely talented.
I just always love the Bug Snacks one because it makes me laugh because it's like, oh my God, this game is funny and I have hot dogs for hands and I'm laughing. It's just awesome. I love that one.
Yes, there was he made one of me riding a Dorito because okay, this is what happened. Right? I had a dream that I was.
Did that one ever see the light of day?
I did post it. Yes. I don't know where it is in my post, but I did post it. I was riding a Dorito in one of my dreams, and he decided to draw it. He also did an Akira themed one as well.
Oh, I would love to see with the bike.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would have loved to see that one.
Yeah, I posted that one too. So somewhere, it is somewhere. He has done so much of my fucking art. It is amazing. But yeah, I just
he's done two for me, so yeah, he's very talented.
He is very, very talented. So, but yeah, Dragon Ball is what started it all. You know what I'm saying? And again, I just think that
it's just been
a huge loss.
It's just been a bad 2020s. It's like lost so many very important people to just different industries, and
We're getting old, man.
I mean, that's the thing, the older you get a chance to, I mean, yeah, you get to grow up and experience all these things, but then you kind of get to the realization that all those people that you looked up to are older than you. And then they're, at some point, time just runs out and you're just not ready for them ever to leave.
If there's one thing that is consistent, it is death and taxes. You know what I'm saying?
And the IRS coming to get them.
Yep.
So, but all right. So there was something. Oh, to
Also,
speak
are you
more.
gonna?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask the panel. Are you picking up that Sandland game?
The which one?
Sandland.
Oh, I don't know. It depends. I got to
Luca?
get through Final Fantasy first.
You know how I am with my games, man. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Maybe.
Wait a minute. What's the name of the game again?
Sandland.
I got too much on my plate at the moment.
Someone probably don't even know what the heck that game is.
It's Toriyama.
It's Toriyama. Yeah.
Oh.
It's totally 100% Toriyama. You look at it like and it looks like an actual real fun game as well. And I know it's gonna sell a boatload. Like that bitch is gonna hit MPD.
It is 100% gonna do really well.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about Sweet Baby Inc. Okay, so there's this article by The Guardian, okay, from yesterday, and it's saying it's 10 years since Gamergate. The industry must now stand up to far-right trolls. Because that is their go-to. Anytime people don't agree with something, they are automatically labeled a far-right troll. I am not a fucking Republican. Okay? At this point, when it comes to let me not get started on how I feel about the fucking Democrats and Republicans right now. But anyway, this article is from Keza McDonald. I think this person right here. I don't know what their gender identity is, so I'm just going to use Keza. Okay, saying conspiracy theorists are still routinely targeting and abusing women and quote-unquote woke game consultants. With a small studio currently under fire, the games industry silence is definitely yes, because something I've noticed is that there certainly has not been a developer coming out to defend Sweet Baby Inc., even though they work with them. You know what I'm saying? You think that they would come out in full defense, but they don't want to get jumped. I really think they don't want to get jumped. All right. People are already losing their jobs left and fucking right in this bitch ass industry. People are like, I don't want to get jumped right now by these. It's bad enough that I have to worry about my job, losing my job. I don't want to argue with people on Twitter. And honestly speaking, I get that because I don't like arguing with people on Twitter anymore. I mean, I used to love it when I was younger, but now I'm like, no, I'm too old for this. Now, 10 years ago, a game developer's aggrieved ex-boyfriend. Oh, what's he doing over there?
Yeah, I have no idea what Vortex is on.
Okay. So 10 years ago, a game developer's aggrieved ex-boyfriend published a vindictive screed? What the hell is a screed? Oh my god, I fucking hate these writers, man. They're always using words I've never heard of before. Screed. All right.
I went to college for this.
I went to college.
That's what it screams to me. But yeah.
So, screed is a long speech or piece of writing, typically one regarded as tedious. Okay, a leveled layer of material.
Like this article.
Apply to a floor others submit. Are you right? Okay, a vindictive screed accusing her of trading sex for favorable reviews of her indie game. Now, I want to say this. I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm just saying that sometimes people use big words when they don't need to. You know what I'm saying? Or words like, maybe this is like a European thing because they use a U in favorable. Maybe it's that. I'm looking into it. So maybe it's like.
As a European.
Is that European?
Favorable, yeah.
No, screed.
Wait, what?
This word right here, screed?
Screed.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, we can just move on then. Okay. So this person's just using big words, okay? Slash words I've never heard of before. This was leapt upon by the least savory corner of the 2014 internet, 4chan, which was a cesspool, I will admit that, and kicked off a harassment campaign that broadened to include all women working in video game development or the gaming press, as well as the industry's LGBTQ community. Sensing blood in the water, alt-right agitators on YouTube and Steve Bannon's Brett Bart, I don't know who that is, jumped on the bandwagon and soon began to steer it and Gamergate as this manufactured outrage became known, mutated into one of the first fronts of the modern culture wars, driven by social media, misogyny, and the weaponized disaffection, of young men. Many of its tactics became part of the Trump election playbook. Okay. What? Okay. All right. Anyway, we just move on from that statement there. Okay. This week, a 16-person narrative design studio has found itself at the center of a conspiracy theory that holds it responsible for the insidious prevalence of wokery. The fact that people have taken the word woke and have just bastardized it to this
Wokery?
is
Oh
fucking
my god.
is
Wokery?
fucking ridiculous. It's in fucking quotation marks, so they're taking it from somewhere else, right? But okay, a group with more than 200,000 followers on PC game storefront Steam, as well as thousands in the Discord chat channel, believes that Sweet Baby Inc. is secretly forcing game developers to change the bodies, ethnicities, and sexualities of video games characters to conform to woke ideology. They think that Sweet Baby has written and controlled almost every popular video game of the past 5 years, shutting straight white men out. As Trump once again heads out on the campaign trail, this is part of a broader far-right panic about diversity and inclusion that has already resulted in proposed regressive anti-women and anti-woke legislation in the US and elsewhere. I just want to say that this is about fucking gaming, all right? And as someone
Yeah,
who
you
is
see what they're doing, right?
I see 100% what they're
Tying
fucking
everything to Donald Trump.
just tying everything into Donald Trump.
Even though they have yet to make a single connection between the two.
Just absolutely fucking egregious. The fact that, first of all, I don't fucking care what they choose to do with certain things in media. I don't. But the issues that are going on with women involving the anti-abortion campaigns and anti-abortion being in certain states now and all the issues that go into that, I feel it's very insulting, honestly speaking, that this person would even think to tie it all together. It's literally just a consulting company that talks about diversity. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone that has critique against this company is part of the far right ideology. You know? So it's just like, why are you bringing this up? And why are you bringing up Trump? Like, what are you doing? Like, they love that fuck, and it's like, as soon as you start using shit like that, I'm just like, and referencing gaming specifically as just broadly, that is, let's say broadly and not specifically. I'm just kind of like, bro, what are you talking about? And I'm general bro, not calling this person bro, right? But the agency in question has, of course, done nothing of the sort. It is simply a narrative development studio, the video game equivalent of script doctors that works with game developers to ensure their plot points make sense. And their characters aren't embarrassingly out of touch. The consultancy's mission statement is to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, and more inclusive. It cannot dictate that developers feature, for example, Black female leads in their games. It does not have the power to dictate anything, but its employees are nonetheless bearing the brunt of an online mob's ire. They're being doxxed, threatened, and abused online. Mind you, the Sweet Baby Inc. employee who started it all started this all. This is their fault. They did this to themselves. No one said they had to come out and fucking be like, oh, I work for Sweet Baby Inc. Guys, pay attention to me. No one knew who this person was. You know what I'm saying? People were targeting Sweet Baby Inc. as a whole, like the corporation, which there is nothing wrong with targeting a fucking corporation as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
depending
Happens
on
all
the
the time.
context of the conversation, obviously, right? But it's just like, as soon as you start, first of all, the last thing you're going to see me do is capping for any sort of corporation, even if I work for them. It's just not going to fucking happen, right? Because I can acknowledge if there's something spooky going on with the place that I work with. And would I acknowledge it publicly? No. I would be like, personally speaking, shit is fucking spooky. But publicly, you're not going to catch me talking. You're not going to catch me bringing attention to myself because I know how people are. I'm just not going to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we just move on from that. Okay. So, it cannot, okay, whatever. So 10 years ago, it was female games journalists and critics in the firing line. This time it's narrative designers, but the conspiracist message is the same. Diversity has no place in games. If you are a woman, queer, or a person of color working in this industry, you should expect the worst. This person's fucking European, right? Because they got the U's up in the words. Is this what y'all do, singer?
Yeah, that's how we say. Yeah,
Okay.
that is how we do color.
All right. So Nathan Grayson of Aftermath and Alyssa Mercante of Kotaku have both investigated the origins and spiraling nature of the Sweet Baby conspiracy theory. Its proponents draw preposterous connections between the consultancy and BlackRock and the funding crisis affecting the wider games industry. Again, diversity in games is not the reason why the gaming industry is imploding. Like it's not, that is not the reason. Okay, I just want to put that out there. It is corporations overspending in abundance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they overhired during the vid. So, okay. Okay. Let's just go ahead and we'll continue with this. This is far from the first time since Gamergate that such harassment has spilled over. Depressingly, coordinated abuse against game developers is now somewhat routine, which, yes, especially if they do something as audacious as to include pride flags in Spider-Man's Manhattan. Yeah, there were definitely people freaking out about that. Or take their time implementing mod support for Baldur's Gate 3. A full 91% of devs surveyed by the Game Developers Conference last year said that harassment from players was an issue, 42% calling it a very serious issue. I will say this. Games journalists and developers versus gamers, that is like a normal thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes these game developers come out and they just start saying shit, man. They just start talking. And perhaps they say things that they should have reconsidered. You know what I'm saying? Not justifying any sort of abuse or anything like that, because there are definitely some people who take it far, like way too far. But again, not every person who disagrees with something that you have to say is automatically in a far right, alt-right conspiracy theorist. And that's the fact that they're putting this label on people who have some concerns about Sweet Baby Inc.'s possible contribution to some of these corporations and these corporations as a whole is not like, it's just one of those things where it's like, what a way to easily shut down any arguments by automatically just saying you're prejudice. You know what I'm saying? So when Gamergate was going on, the silence from much of the video game industry was deafening. Instead of standing up for the people that were being targeted, almost everyone who wasn't being directly attacked by Gamergate's mob stuck their fingers in their ears and tried to pretend it wasn't happening. As they should, because I too would have minded my fucking business. You're not going to get me jumped, all right? But media outlets, game developers, and publishers alike, perhaps motivated by a fear of making things worse or alienated what they feared was a sizable part of their audience, failed to speak out in defense of women until it was too late, if they spoke out at all. IGN, then the most popular games website in the world, published a stunningly weak exercise in both sidism about recent unpleasantness that failed to even call the movement by name. The game industry's failure to speak out decisively did not calm the situation. Doing nothing did not dissuade the mob. It merely left people who were in some cases being harassed out of their homes and workplaces. Damn, was it that bad? Okay. Feeling alone, furious, and often afraid. Back then, the main targets were female devs, journalists, and critics. This time, it's a group of narrative consultants. Again, I don't even know if what's happening with Sweet Baby Inc., if you could even conflate it to this Gamergate thing, because if they were like harassing people out of their homes and workplaces, that's like really on a different level than what's going on with Sweet Baby Inc. Like, would you agree, disagree?
Yeah, it's not the same, and
Yeah.
it's also like this art. I mean, you've been reading this article, and at no point has this person, this author
Provided any
of
proof.
this article, provided any actual information of what has been
Okay.
happening, and nor do I ever expect them to actually address what the Sweet Baby employee did two
You're
times
right.
in regards to we're talking about doxing people or and trying to incite a mob against not doxing, but trying to incite a mob against someone. That's exactly what that person did, trying to get all their followers to help them get a Steam account dismissed or removed. A Steam account, that's somebody's digital library that they spent likely thousands upon thousands of dollars on. You're trying to get all that wiped away because they made a community group that just simply listed the games that you have worked on. Your own website does that. Are you
Mhm.
gonna try to get your own website shut down? So it's
You're
just
right.
like it's dumb. But I guarantee this article won't bring that up
You're right,
because
and I agree with
this is
you.
not this isn't journalism. This is just it's presenting one side without actually doing the real work to try to explain to someone who doesn't understand what the situation is, what's really happening.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. And this is something that white leftists like to do, but let me not get into that, okay? Anyway, moving on from that, in the 10 years since Gamergate, the culture wars that were fermented in the game forums have spread out to poison almost all aspects of our lives, which is so interesting because there's like more diversity than ever like this last 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind
Mm-hmm.
of like I feel like you could just never please people. You know what I'm saying? And there was an interesting conversation. David Jaffe made an interesting point. He said that either you don't like bad writing or you're prejudiced, right? And my thing is like, because what did he say? He said that a lot of these instances it's bad writing. But I do want to say this, like when there are corporations who are coming out and they are flat out saying like, no, we included this, we are deliberately adding certain things in order to appeal to certain people, to certain perspectives, certain sides. It's like, well, it can be it's bad writing and they are pandering. Like they said they're pandering.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one or the other. It can be a more nuanced conversation. Um in my opinion. Okay. The last decade has taught us that these people will not simply go away. There may always be those who believe that the mere presence of women and minorities in their video games or their Star Wars, which again, Star Wars, those last two movies, I heard they were pretty spooky. Now, I only saw the last Star Wars I
They're
saw.
pretty bad.
No, they're really bad. They're dog water. Like
The last Star Wars I saw was the, the number 7, I think. That was the last Star Wars I saw.
yeah, like
The
all
Force
five.
Awakens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the start of the horrible.
That's the best one of
Trilogy.
the new trilogy. That's the
Mhm.
best
Yeah,
movie.
but like if you compare them, obviously episode 1, 2, 3, they were good. 4, 5, and 6, obviously legendary. But then you had these three, and it's like, oh, I don't get why all the hate, and it's like,
Because
have
women.
did
I'm
but
sorry.
didn't you look in the mirror and realize your writing is absolutely shitty? The characters are absolutely dog water, and you're trying to portray something that Star Wars can evolve, but you're evolving it in a direction that people don't want, and the fan base is turning against you. And perhaps instead of going, well, they just don't know, how about go, oh, so the fan base doesn't like this. So how about we go in a new direction and try something else?
How about you not try
No,
to kill everybody's favorite characters throughout a whole series in literally one episode and stop trying to have a
Yep.
woke version of Star Wars when you can do the same thing by just giving a compelling story and stop acting like you don't know what the heck you're doing? Because you know what? I think you weren't acting like it because you didn't know what you were doing. Episode 7, 8, 9 was just that was it's the reason people look at Star Wars in such a negative light just because of those last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But see, they threw Star Wars in there.
The pre trilogy wasn't that good either.
No, the pre trilogy wasn't as good as the original, but it's hard to live up to the originals because I feel like episode 3 is amazing. I feel like it's great for what it actually was, but it's kind of hard to go back and tell the story of Vader and all that other stuff without all of the stuff that people don't care about, like the relationship between Padme and Anakin and how Obi-Wan was the real MVP of the whole dang trilogy, but a lot of people don't really want to see that because that wasn't the case.
He was because he obviously killed Darth Maul. He
killed everybody.
But I mean, shout out to Qui-Gon because Qui-Gon, he's a real G.
Should have never died in episode 1.
Should never have died. And Attack of the Clones was cool because you get to see all the Jedi fighting in the giant arena with the androids and whatnot, and you get to see quite a few of the characters like Plo Koon. And I was like, it's not as good as the original 3. But it's good enough. But if you compare both those trilogies to the new trilogy, oh man, oh boy,
it's like they tried to do a looky-loo a third time. It's like, oh, here's another family dynamic. What? Man, miss me with this, bro.
Yeah, my thing is, I was just like, someone said it's bad, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to this my Star Wars brethren. I'm not gonna go see that shit, man. So it was a skip for me.
Aren't you guys proud of me for not bringing up Dune in your entire synopsis of the pre-trilogy?
Okay, well, that's great and awesome, but real quick, I did want to bring up something because Paul mentioned Finn, right, in the chat. See how this person doesn't mention the inherent racism John Boyega experienced?
Yep.
Apparently, it's just blind defense of Star Wars because sexism. I'm just saying.
Right.
Stay woke, brothers. Okay, so anyway, order Star Wars or their halls of cultural or political power is an affront, a symptom of the woke mind virus. Now, this is someone who spends too much time reading about what the quote-unquote far alt-right trolls have to say, because that is definitely something I've seen people use, and I just, there are certain terminology I'm like, that's a little bit much, man. Like, I can't take this shit seriously. But anyway, Alan Wake 2 developer Remedy has denied accusations that narrative agency Sweet Baby Inc. ensured the lead character was a black woman. No, they probably made this decision on their own. I believe that Saga Anderson was white beforehand. They decided, Remedy decided to make her black because they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's just Sweet Baby Inc., man. They probably were like, oh, you're going to make her black? Yes. Awesome. But anyway, but we also ignore that ignoring them does not help. It only makes things worse. The people working at Sweet Baby should not be left to suffer on behalf of the studios that employ them. They'll be okay. I'm sorry, they'll be okay. Individual developers are braver these days about speaking out on social media. The director of Alan Wake 2 posted that conspiracy theories claiming Sweet Baby forced the developer to change a character's ethnicity were absolutely not true. And Mary Kinney, associate narrative director at Marvel Spider-Man's developer Insomniac, has also tweeted strong denials. But again, those companies just did what they wanted to do. I definitely fucking believe that. But companies themselves need to follow suit, okay? Publishers and developers that have worked with Sweet Baby include Warner Bros., which they have been having L after L after L minus Hogwarts Legacy, so I don't even know. They don't want to speak out. And PlayStation's Santa Monica Studio, and they're definitely not saying anything. Where are the statements of support? Are they going to publicly defend the people they worked with on multi-million-dollar games from false accusations, or let the trolls control the narrative? And again, if Sweet Baby didn't have such a strong hand, right, and influence on these games, then why do they even need to be defended by these corporations? You know what do you guys get what I'm saying there? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, if they were just like a transient partner, they don't need to come out and fucking defend them. They didn't do
Nope.
anything, right? Allegedly. So it's just like, why do they need to be defended? They can be like, no, we didn't do that shit. Whether or not people believe you, people are going to make up their minds about you regardless. You're not going to get these corporations on your side because they're not on your side because they don't care about fucking diversity. When are people going to understand that? Okay? They are doing this shit to fucking meet quotas. All right? As soon as it stops benefiting them, as soon as they see that it's not making them any money, they're going to fucking change course. That's how these corporations are. The only thing that matters is money. We are dollar signs to all of these corporations. I think the issue is that these games journalists and these people who try to, and I think it is an admirable cause to try to work towards um, inclusion and diversity. Admirable cause, right? But they need to understand that these corporations don't actually care about this stuff. They are lying. They're liars. They don't fucking care. As soon as it doesn't work for them anymore, it's out of there. I will give an example of a corporation that is so boldly been, yes, pro-diversity, when behind the scenes they were doing vile, disgusting, sexist, homophobic, racist shit. Bungie.
Oh, I knew you was about to talk about it because I was just thinking the same thing.
Blacks at Bungie.
That one character. It was like an NPC or something, like a vendor or whatever.
Oh yeah.
On Earth. Yeah, and so the narrative team wanted to turn that character gay, and the leadership was like, "Oh no, we ain't doing that." And so they made them take any reference of that out. But then, as they went through their QA process, someone in the narrative team snuck a line back in, and the leadership didn't know it. So when that part was released, and everyone was like, "Oh, Bungie is so brave." Bungie leadership was like, "Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're trailblazers, and we just want to make sure that everyone is represented. Thank you."
Mind you, bare fucking minimum, because it was just a line. You're fucking sick. You're sick bastard.
Right.
You're
Behind the
sick fucking
scenes,
bastard.
they probably fired that person anyway. Because that person definitely did not follow instructions. And that it's just so funny how they try to take credit for things they didn't really want to do.
I mean, they did go a bit bolder with the whole Sing 14 and Osiris thing.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
That they had going on, and I was like, that doesn't even feel natural because, like, Sing 14 is this legendary warrior who went out like a badass, and
So
then
you're saying that he can't be gay? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I'm sorry.
it just if you know Sing 14's story and then you know Osiris's story, it doesn't fit. Like it's this is the problem with the next line in the thing. Diversity is happening naturally. If you can make it naturally in your game, no one's gonna mind. But it's when it sticks out like a sore thumb, like you hit the brakes real quick and go, hang on a minute. Really?
Oh, I mean, honestly speaking, I don't know too much about Destiny's lore in regards to that. But I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know they were in a relationship. I was like, that's interesting and stuff. But yeah, Bungie, blacks at Bungie, women at Bungie, gays at Bungie, but behind the scenes we're the most prejudiced people ever. Like, disgusting. Oh, and also blacks at Xbox. Exactly. Okay. I haven't forgotten. All right. Oh my god, I forgot what the name of that streaming service was that they had, Xbox. Or streaming platform. Mixer shutting down, but behind the scenes they had some spooky shit going on.
Slave drivers.
Slave drivers never addressed.
Mhm.
Okay. I haven't forgotten that. 343 having their little Black History Month little flag. Bonobo, bitch, I haven't fucking forgot, okay? I haven't forgotten. So
It was
every
an
time
accident. It was an accident.
that shit was
Yeah.
fucking
We ain't mean it.
bastards, man. They're bastards. Every time these corporations try to make some show of support and inclusivity, then we find out behind the scenes that they're fucking bastards. These corporations don't fucking care about this shit, man. It is all for show. That's why some of the Twitter accounts during Pride Month, they changed their flag. But then in the countries where homosexuality is not allowed, they don't change shit. Okay, they don't even mention it. They don't say anything. Because it's just a show. It is a show. I remember my mind started to change about all this stuff during the George Floyd situation. When I saw Black Lives Matter on a fucking billboard at some kind of baseball stadium, bitch, ask me if I know what the hell it is. I don't know. Whatever stadium is in Chicago. I was like, oh, that's kind of...
It's about Wrigley.
Exactly. It was at Wrigley, right? I was like, oh, that's kind of odd. It's kind of odd that they're going so hard. I've literally never seen them post that before. Weird. You know, and that's when my mind started to... I was woke then. I woke up to the truth that these corporations don't give a fuck about us. Okay, anyway. So moving on from that. Anyway, so that article was just a bunch of nonsense. They didn't share. They did not source anything relevant to what was happening. They did not mention that the Sweet Baby Inc. employee was cucking about and inciting mob activity. You know what I'm saying? They didn't mention any of that shit. These people, they are perpetual victims, and it is a loser mentality. And I am not a loser. All right. So for me, when I say shit like this, I'm like, I'm not a big fan. And again, when we have these conversations, I just think it's cute because I'll see like black men, right? They'll start talking about this stuff and be like, oh, it's interesting that you're against diversity. And then I ask them how they feel about gay people and trans people. And suddenly the conversation's fucking different. All right. People only ever care about what affects them, right? And if you have a differing opinion, suddenly you are the fucking coon. You're the problem. That's what they love to call us. Coon. You can't gaslight me. All right? I see the fucking truth. I'm awake. My third eye is open. But getting away from any of that. I just personally, I love diversity and inclusion. I think it's fun, right? I think it's great. I do genuinely believe when I talk about organic storytelling, I am talking about character-driven storytelling, like Slomo likes to say, right? Character-driven storytelling, not plot-based storytelling, character-driven storytelling. I feel like that still exists in this day and age. That is what I mean by organic, you know? And I understand that is a collaborative process, the creative process is collaborative. And when it's not collaborative, you get shit like fucking Euphoria season 2. Don't get me started. There needs to be a writer's room. All right. There are some issues with that season 2. There was like 2 good episodes. Okay. 2 good episodes. Sometimes it's good to have some fucking feedback. You need someone to bounce your ideas off of. So someone can be like, that shit was fucking especially heinous. All right. I'm just saying. Okay. But I'm just, you know, I personally would just prefer if they want to have these discussions, if they weren't so goddamn disingenuous about it. Because as soon as you disagree with them, you get labeled something vile and atrocious. And it's just like, man, it makes me not want to have this conversation with you. Essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my boy Bari. Shout out to Bari. They had John Layden on. What's up, PlayStation? So shout out to you guys. You guys are working over there. You're fucking cooking. You're cooking. All right. I'm so proud of you guys and the work that you guys have done. You have put so much energy, so much effort into your channel. I am just astounded of what you guys were able to accomplish, you know, and what you guys are still able to accomplish. You will always have a supporter in me, and we will always be cool. And you know, we may joke on each other a lot, but it's always going to be love with us. So shout out to Bari. saying R.I.P. Akira Toriyama. What's up, Luca? Bot. What's up, y'all? What's up, man?
Yeah, definitely check out on What's Up PlayStation Podcast. They had Whoops. They had Sean Layden on earlier today, and it was a very, very insightful interview. It was a good job by them. Definitely check that out.
All right. But yeah, I did a lot of rambling. Sometimes I start to sound a little fanatical and insane. Yeah.
Hey,
But
Luca,
Sometimes,
I'm aware of it. Excuse me?
huh? No, I was coughing. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Singer.
Jesus
I had a
Christ.
thought. If you want to see the natural diversity thing, guaranteed, Avowed this year is going to have a ton of it, and you will see a mastercraft in how to get all these different races, people, and everything will be seamless. Like, you'll just play through the story, and everything will go. Guarantee you, if someone has a complaint, you just suck. Because watch how good this writing is going to be, and then you'll understand how to naturally diversify your game. Because I guarantee you, it's going to be in the game. Because it's in every Obsidian game. So, there we go.
I agree. I can definitely see it. What's a bottom? Yeah, and there's always going to be people, like, no matter what you do, they're gonna call it like forced diversity and woke. But there is, like, you can tell the difference between genuine storytelling versus pandering. At least people with brains can do that. Now, I'm not saying that a lot of people use their brains, because they don't. Okay, they don't use their brains, right? But people who have like medium brain functionality are able to tell the difference. So because there's, like, again, there's plenty of media that features fantastic fucking storytelling and has a shit ton of fucking diversity. And I love that shit. It's fucking delicious. Fucking delicioso,
Hopefully they keep the whole, because it's based in the Pillars universe. This is on the side note. I'm assuming they're gonna keep the whole slavery stuff in there as well. Watch how they handle that as well.
I know you're excited for that. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No. No. But the pillars of attention. Shout out to Power World.
That was good. That was good.
Shout out to Power World, but no, the way they handle it in the Pillars universe is really, really, really well done. So hopefully they keep all that. They said it's in the world, and the lead person already said that they're keeping everything, so they should be keeping that in. Plus, you'll also probably come across a lot of some racism in the game. That'll be handled well as well. So
I think
yeah,
I appreciate you, because you know what? If there's one thing I'm gonna do, it's talk about Dragon Age. I fucking love Dragon Age, and I feel like Dragon Age does such a good job discussing the racism that exists in that world, especially Dragon Age 2.
Hey, hold on, Luca. What? Lead writer David Gator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he a gay man?
Is he?
I think he is. Yeah, he is.
Okay. King.
Wow. So
Diversity.
you have a diverse writer who made diverse content. Wow. So he wasn't a consultant. He was the lead writer. And so surprisingly, the content is handled well. Okay. That's all I want to say.
Well, he's also just a really good writer too. So
True. Like, by the way, if you like Dragon Age, read the novels that he created for it as well. Those are really good. There's two that are prequels to Dragon Age Origins, and then there are a couple that are in between Origins and Inquisition. They are really good.
I'm loving it. Is Dreadwolf gonna be good, Slow-Mo?
David Gator that hasn't worked for BioWare for quite some time, so I'm gonna say maybe. Prognosis doubtful.
I am. At least we got some really good games out of them, man. But yeah, Dragon Age 2. The choices you can make in the Dragon Age franchise, and I'm thinking there is a story mission in Dragon Age 2. Spoilers for Dragon Age 2, right? It's a fantastic game. The dungeon layouts are fucking atrocious, dude. I can't deny that shit. But from the story perspective, I think it's very good, right? It's my favorite one because of certain there's a situation where there is a noble's son. This is some heavy content, guys. A noble's son is kidnapping and murdering elven children. He's doing other things to them too, right? You find out about this and you have an option. You can turn him in. You can let him continue doing the vile, disgusting, atrocious things that he's doing, or you can kill him. Baby, I'm gonna kill him every time. You know, that's my favorite option. I'm like, yes, he has to die. He has to die. But people know what he's doing and they don't care because the racism is so fucking prevalent in that culture that they don't even view these children as human. They don't give a fuck, dude. They view them as animals, and they're like, he can do whatever he wants with them.
He's just doing it to elves, so it's no big deal.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you're doing okay. Like, we're supposed to. He's rich. He's got influence, and he's going after these things. We don't fucking care, and it always gets to me because you have Lord have mercy, not me fucking forgetting these characters' names. We have you can have Fenris with you and Isabella. Isabella, spoiler alert, she was sold by her mother for a fucking cow or some shit, man. Sold her for nothing. Sex slavery when Isabella was a child, right? Fenris was also abused and taken advantage of, sold into slavery. You can have your party members with you. And you know, they're definitely looking at you like, bitch, you better fucking make the right decision.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Dragon Age. Like the people that you like, they're not just there. They're not just, you know, like they have input on the things that you do and your choices. It's interesting because like if they're back at camp, the impact of your choices and your relationship with them won't be as the same as it was if they're in the party, and that's consistent throughout the entire series. Like in Origins, when you get the ashes of Andraste, and you have the choice to like pour blood into it or something to ruin the ashes. Like if you do that, and actually you do that, and you have Liliana and Wynn. Yeah, Wynn with you, they will fight you. They will leave the party. They will leave your group and fight you to the death. Well, Wynn absolutely will. You can convince Liliana to just, you know, bend the knee and just deal with it. But the fact that it turns into a fight is just, you don't really kind of see that in a lot of RPGs that have this level of dialogue and story and characters with that much depth. You just don't see that.
It's so fucking good. And Dragon Age was one of the games that like I was happy to role play, you know? Like I was happy. I played Dragon Age Inquisition as a Dalish elf mage, a Dalish elf mage who sided with the Templars and romanced Cullen. You know how crazy that is? But it was so good. Oh, and I also subjugated the other mages. I was like, you guys are under my rule. I did that. And I was like, yeah, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I did that in another playthrough where I played a circle mage who decided to subjugate the mages instead of freeing them. Because I was like, we can't let them roam free. I sided with Vivian. I made Vivian the fucking what is it called? The Holy Mother, the Supreme. I don't remember.
Yeah, sometimes Supreme, like it's a title for Orlais, right? A Legion title. Whatever.
It's for the church.
It's been a while. I need to play through Dragon Age again. It's been too long.
Okay. But anyway, moving on from that little outburst. But yeah, so basically like my natural inclination is of course to fucking free everybody. Okay, you're not going to be subjugated on my fucking watch, all right? We're killing the oppressors. But that game made me role play, and I had a lot of fun with it. You know what I'm saying? It made me want to do that. Now, Dragon Age 2, I'm not doing anything where I have a fucking Carver on my team. I just can't deal with him. Okay, Bethany or bust. All right, Bethany or bust. Okay, we just move on from that. So, anyway. Yes, you gotta play. Dragon Age is a fucking fantastic series. The storytelling is excellent. So
You have to play Dragon Age, and you have to play Pillars of Eternity, because I know people ain't gonna like you're not gonna like the art style, but it is worth it because the moral ambiguity is just fantastic. Because there is no right or wrong in this game. There is none at all. There is just you. And you will have to face the consequences, whatever they may be, whether it be positive or bad. You will go through the game, but the game will not tell you. It is literally on you as a person. And that's what makes it so dynamic, is because two people won't have the same story because we're all individuals. So
exactly.
we all make individual choices about what we do. And I know it's a bit of a spoiler, but I'm going to say it because the game's super old. Well, it's not really a spoiler, but it's basically about brain dead kids. So a generation of brain dead children, Halloween, it could be resolved by inflicting multiple personality disorder on the kids in the future, or you could let them go back into the world and be mentally dead and slowly grow up in a horrible existence, or you could feed their souls to the goddess of death. Yeah, that's it's not a good. It's horribly depressing because when you find like that's what the Hollow are, brain dead kids, kids without a soul.
Jesus, you know that
Yeah.
reminds me of The Witcher, where you have the option of spiriting away these children with a demonic presence that was trapped in a fucking tree, and you're supposed to believe that it's not going to hurt them, or letting the kids get eaten by some witches. Okay, so it's just it's like one of those things where you're like, okay, all right, great, great, okay. But anyway, let's go ahead and get these channel member topics. So just two. Shout out to Light Strife, who said just stopping by to say RIP to the absolute legend that is Akira Toriyama. The legacy he left behind is unparalleled. And then shout out to Ronald, who brought up the racism aspect, which we discussed earlier, stating, since Akira Toriyama's death, people are bringing up the racism of the character design and the racial undertones of Dragon Ball. I am not here to defend any Japanese anime creator because they like to play on the stereotypes. This is not the first time people calling it, and probably won't be the last time. What are your thoughts on the situation? So we gave our thoughts on that. And again, Dragon Ball had some other spooky stuff in there too. Bulma was like a teenager, and there was some weird shit going on. Okay, I won't go any further with that. But and then Ronald asks, "Veneers are the devil." Okay, I wish people stop putting their teeth condoms. Okay, those teeth condoms in their mouth. I'd rather have braces or crooked teeth. What are your thoughts on veneers? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really think about veneers like that because I don't know anybody who has them. I mean, what do you guys think?
I don't know anyone who has them either, so I don't have
Yeah, I
an
don't know
opinion on it.
anyone.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
I
must
don't
be
have an
talking. He
opinion
must
on
have
it.
saw something fucking spooky, and it must have pissed him off, and that's why he's bringing it up. But apparently, they are a cosmetic treatment. They improve your smile, but they don't necessarily strengthen or repair your teeth. When I think about people with, you know, teeth aren't a thing for me, but eyes are. But I like, yeah, I don't listen. I don't really think about people with veneers like that. But if it's just, I mean, people do all kinds of cosmetic things in order to feel better about whatever aspect of themselves, whether or not they look good with them. I don't know. I saw this TikTok video of this chick who claims that she was 22. And she probably is 22, but since she gets like lip fillers and other injections, she looks like she's in her 40s. And I'm just like, y'all got to stop messing with yourselves until you're a little bit older. You know what? Fucking Botox and all that shit's for when you're older. And some ethnicities don't have to worry about that, you know? So, but yeah. Anyway, you guys have anything else you'd want to talk about?
No, not really.
Deviation Games closed down.
No, yeah,
What?
that happened.
Yeah, they were the former Call of Duty developers that were making an exclusive shooter, live service shooter for PlayStation, and Bungie and Sony canceled their game about a year ago, and then now the studio is closed down. So that happened yesterday, I think.
Yeah, they're about to get
Yeah.
Bungie's ass up out of there too, but you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this live service department it's I don't know what is going on over there, but I feel bad for Deviation. But
It's not just
like,
Sony, man. It's just everywhere.
Yeah,
no,
look,
but
on all
it seems
platforms, the same live service games are at the top, and so it's really hard to knock those games off, even if you have some initial success initially. Like Helldivers 2 is doing great right now. Doesn't mean that like 6 months from now it could be a graveyard, or a year from now it gets shut down. We're like, damn, remember when Helldivers 2 was a thing? You know, that happens with live service games. It's really hard to break the top. So
yeah, man. You got roped into making an exclusive. The exclusive got cancelled, and then damn, you closed
Yeah.
down.
I think
That's the unfortunate thing of starting up an independent company. That is the trouble with indie. Because if you start off with your first project, if it doesn't hit, what are you gonna do?
I don't know, man. I think listen, you guys know how I feel about the gaming industry. Catch me working
Yeah.
in this industry, never. Never. I've heard too many spooky things about this place. Hell fucking no. All right? Hell no. And the tech industry, I'm not saying it's like super stable or anything, obviously, because a bunch of corporations laid off people, Google, Microsoft. I know. But the gaming industry, bitch, catch me never. Never. Never, 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 never. I have nothing but respect for the folks who are here because, you know, they make the games that we love, right? But if there's one thing I'm not going to do, it's crunch, okay? I'm not going to do that. And there's certain things I'm just not going to put up with, okay? Certain prejudices I'm not putting up with, okay? It's just not happening. You're not going to catch me going into an all that you're just not going to catch me doing it, okay? But anyway, other than that, like, is there anything
No,
else you
not right.
guys would like to
Nope.
discuss?
There is
Okay.
one TLDR I want to share before we
Sure.
go.
Okay.
Okay.
I think he's getting it.
Yep.
Oh.
Do you see it?
I was like, "Where's the
Sorry, I
silence?"
didn't. It was me. It was me. I didn't pull it up.
You know how we are about
Hey, Yogi.
silence. You know, we got to make sure we keep the silence out.
All right. So TLDR, is it just me, or is the lore for Pillars of Eternity sometimes just too dark to the point of just being depressing and exhausting? The promotional art makes you think you're in for an epic swashbuckling adventure, not a house of horrors where I have to deal with gut-wrenching massacres. Oh, of scores of innocent people every turn. Okay, every corner I turn. Sounds fun.
Yeah. Because there's massacres, tragic loss, racism within racism. That's the thing. Like, these are the main points of it. And then colonizers. Oh, yeah, that's a big thing in the game. Most of the empires are colonizers built on war. Everyone hates each other. Yeah, it's really fun. If you like dark fantasy, it's up your street. If you can't handle some of the themes, because it goes into it where he's right, massacre of innocent people, and you just have to sit there and go, okay, that happened. What am I supposed to do now? I'm gonna keep it pushing. And so it's a whole thing. So yeah, that was the TLDR. So I advise people to play it because not enough people play the game. It's so good.
I just need, I need some distance before I dive into something else dealing with the mass genocidal atrocity. I mean, it's spoiler alert. I'm not going to say it. But let's get the fuck up out of here. Okay, so Ramon, are you still dealing with the sickness? Because Slomo has convinced me to play some Elden King tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I told my friend I'd go over to his house. I'll let you know when I'm free. Okay.
Oh
What time are you
boy.
free? What time are you free? What time you want to play?
3 p.m. Good.
3
My
p.m.
time. 3 p.m. my time. That'd be 2 p.m. your time.
Okay. I might have to push it back later,
Okay.
but we'll get it done. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
I beat Persona 3 Reload. I don't know if I mentioned that last week.
You did.
And I started
You
playing
did.
I started playing Persona 5 again.
Yep.
Thank God it just gave me access to all the DLC shit that I had from the last Persona 5. Because let me tell you, the amount of money I spent on those goddamn outfits, egregious. But they're like, here you go, bitch. I'm like, oh, thank God, right? So I'm looking cute, running. I just beat Kamoshida's weirdo ass. And yeah, looking forward to seeing the differences and the changes in Royal. Singer, I have Persona 4 Golden installed on my ROG Ally. All right, so
Good.
Interesting.
Good. Because the music, when you hear heartbeat or whatever, the song,
That's probably the best song. That's the best song
like,
on Persona 4. Yeah.
and also Signs of Love is a
But
really
Persona
good
5 still
jazz
has the
track.
best music. Out of all the Persona games, Persona 5 still has the best music.
It does, but 4 Golden is second. Like, it's gotta be, because when you walk around with that song, you just sing along. I find myself just singing out loud because you just can't help it. The song is just so catchy and it's just relaxing. And I really like the whole jazz thing. They went super jazzy with a lot of it. I know they did that in Persona 5, but yeah, Persona 4 came before Persona 5, so you can see where they got the inspiration.
Yeah, especially with the character archetypes. I think they are far more not necessarily copying, but definitely, I mean, it's their own work, but they definitely drew a lot of inspiration from the Persona 4 characters when they create the Persona 5 characters. And I'm hoping with Persona 6 that they start to deviate some things away from the tried and true that they do with the series. Because I think at this point, I'm not that far into 3. I'm at the end of 4, and it's just still installed, put on pause for now. And I've beaten 5 at least twice. That there are certain things, there's certain characters when they're introduced, I'm already like, I know who this character is and what they're going to do. And it's just like I need them to kind of like switch it up a bit for 6, but we'll see.
I will say playing 5 again, and like after playing 3, even though there are certain aspects of that character archetype that are similar, those are different characters, like 100%. Because Yukari, if she don't get on my damn nerves compared to Anne, dude, like goddamn, she was so annoying. Shout out to Bari saying, if Luca mentions Persona when Rebirth is out, I'm kicking shins. I have spoken, no lisp. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that game is.
Luca hasn't finished remake yet, Bari.
They
So
had
she's
me
gotta do
going.
that
They
first.
asked me to go find a cat, and I uninstalled the game for remake.
Oh, that's where you quit at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, Luca, the funny thing is that's why I recently re-downloaded it, because I miss all the mods. Like, I'll go through the game just to finish it out, ready for when Rebirth comes to PC, because then I can mod the shit
I ain't
out of
gonna
that as well.
lie. I ain't gonna
But
lie, man. In the slums, that's
that
where I stopped on the first one, where they told me
that's
to
where I
go collect
stopped,
cats.
because when they said go find the cats, I
It
turned
is
it off. I
no.
I stopped.
but I uninstalled the game on Steam.
I
I
don't
was
wanna
like,
do that.
You
no,
don't even
thank
have
you.
to look. The last time I just on the DPS channel, I streamed the entire remake game on PC. Had Barrett looking like Master Chief and everything, right? I didn't even talk to that little girl about her cats. Didn't even do it. I just kept.
Well, that's because
I'm not doing that.
Well, see, the thing is, some of us it's like when you play the game and you come across like even though it's optional, it's the fact that it's there. It's like why is it even here? What?
Honestly speaking, when I first played it, I didn't realize it was optional. I just immediately uninstalled the
Yeah.
game. So
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's optional. It's like, why is it here? Who wants to do this? This is like
I mean, if it's
this is like bench
optional,
work. No.
Go ahead, Luca.
I was gonna say if it's optional, then it like
Uh,
what is the definition of optional? You don't have to do it.
Right.
But
The
I
fact
didn't
that
know
I
it was
seen it-
optional. I just fucking uninstalled the game immediately.
Yeah,
But that's
see-
me. I wasn't invested anyway because I needed obviously I needed an excuse to uninstall it because I uninstalled it.
Clearly.
So, like,
Clearly, so
Like,
that's just thank you. Just keep it a butt. You weren't invested, and you used it as an excuse.
I'm always honest.
But the difference is, I gave it the side eye.
Barry said, "But you'll fetch a can of juice in Persona."
And guess what I didn't do?
Yeah,
I
but
didn't do that. I didn't do that either.
I'll be honest.
Oh,
Like
for
Side-Eyed 7 Remake Heavy, but it was on sale and it was a good price on Steam. So I was like, you know what? I'll dive in just to see what the hype was about. I got through and I modded it first of all because there's no way I could do it without the mods. So I threw all the mods on and then I was like, right, let's play through this. Everything was going swimmingly. I got to the slums. They asked me to find some cats. I immediately hit uninstall on Steam. And it's like, this is the game. This is the game everyone's praising as this game of the year.
Okay, listen.
No, thank you.
I don't want to. I want to be very clear here. Unlike with
Wait a minute, hold on a minute.
Wait, I want to be clear here, real quick. Unlike with what Singer and Nautical are saying, I was never invested in the first place. The cats thing, I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna look for a fucking cat. I uninstalled it. Didn't bother to find out if it was option or not because I wasn't invested. It has nothing to do with whether or not the game is quality. I truly believe the game is quality. I did not want to play the game, so I just used whatever excuse to not play it. I'm honest about that. Now it was the cat that fucking prompted it, but I was looking for any excuse, baby.
It was just like
for any fucking excuse, okay?
Well, it's just like it was just like what I tout how Mass Effect is the greatest franchise ever, and Mass Effect 2 I quit when I had to start scanning planets. I was like, what? I'm not doing this.
Go.
I was like, no. I'm running around. I'm flying around the galaxy, and they got me pulling out a sonar to scan a planet. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
That also is optional, but optional in a way where if you choose not to do it, you will incur the circumstances that you have created.
It's not optional.
You get to the end of the game.
It's not optional. It was not optional.
You can still complete the game without doing it. Therefore, it is optional. But you won't like what ends up happening.
Ends up happening. But no, that was the thing. So I literally quit the game. Literally quit it. Traded the game in and was like, I don't want to play this. And then literally the second one came out, and my brother was like, bro, you need to play the second one. Just boot it up and play the first mission. I booted up, played the first mission. I was like, Jesus, my God, Christ, I have to go play the first one. And I skedaddled my way through the first one. I said, you know what? I'm going to force myself to scan these goddamn planets. And I got the two, and it was amazing. But dude, games, it's certain things about games that just don't jive with people, man. It's like, you don't mind doing some of the mundane things in game, but it's just like a trigger. Like, I don't want to look for cats and I don't want to scan planets. Those just two things that just really irritated me when it happened.
The thing is,
I like scanning the planets in Mass Effect personally, but that's just me.
The thing is, I like Final Fantasy as a franchise, but if we're keeping it 100, Final Fantasy 14 has been the best Final Fantasy they've released in like the past 10 years. Like, that story just trumps everything, and until
can you say that if you haven't played everything?
Oh Lord.
Well, it's just the best. It's just a fact.
I can understand that's your opinion, but if you haven't played,
obviously it's my opinion.
I mean, like I don't compare the Final Fantasy, the FF7R stories to FF14 because I haven't played FF14 enough to justify that. So I just don't compare it.
Well, I re-downloaded 7 Remake. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna beat it. Just say I beat it, right? And ready for when Rebirth comes to PC. 16 will be coming to PC soon. So as much as I just think it's Devil May Cry with Final Fantasy name, I'll play it. I'll give it a shot. And if I don't like it, I'll
Definitely not what it is, but okay.
No. It's just the whole action thing.
Okay.
But
It's not Devil May Cry combat. It's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not that.
I know.
And
It's just
16 has a really good story. I do agree that like the RPG elements of it are extremely limited,
light.
but it's
yes.
a very good story, and I enjoyed the combat. And Clive is an awesome main protagonist. Probably one of their better ones, considering some of the other ones they've had in the past that I didn't quite care for. That said, I'm about 36 hours into Rebirth, and I'm only on chapter 8.
Dog, have you
And
literally put 12 hours in it since DPS?
You really want me to answer that?
You were at 22 hours when we had during DPS. You were at 22 hours, and we finished that show at 12:30. 12:30.
So anyway, shut up.
12:30 in the morning.
Shut up.
So you're averaging. Don't you work a full-time job too?
He surely does.
So you're averaging 6 hours
why are you
a
clocking
day.
me? Why are you
man.
clocking
Yo,
me?
listen, because that's what we
I'm
talking about.
just time
Slow-mo don't
managing
sleep.
you. Oh my
Slow-mo
god.
don't be Slow-mo don't be out here sleeping, man. That's what's
True,
going
you're
on.
right. And you're right to say so. Okay, but I do want to like get out of here. So my legs are
Yeah.
hurting. So yeah.
I-
Now
I-
I
Are
said
you
I would
standing
do.
up?
No.
He said, "Are you standing up?"
I can't figure out why her legs are hurting.
I'm trying to figure out why her legs are hurt.
Just to Ramon's point, it's not that I already hate it. It's just part of my previous statement was because Barry's in the chat, and I know it's it's gonna do
Ramon
a
is
thing.
a pony. You don't even have to pay him any mind when it comes
No,
to defending stuff, okay?
no. Ramon already knows Horizon Sleep Dawn is, it's one of those things, and he knows how I feel about games that claim to be RPGs but have very few elements in it. But
God, we're not bringing that RPG.
we're not bringing that up
ever
again. No,
okay.
no. I just gotta do it because Ramon's in the chat. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'll play these games, but after playing 14. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna see if they trump it, but I highly doubt it's gonna trump that story in its entirety because
And you never
that
know.
story. What? Yeah, I mean, I never know.
Because I say you never know because a lot of people didn't think Dune 2 would be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But then they saw the movie and were like, "Oh, I
mean,
stand corrected."
I have hope for 16 because it's done by Yoshida and Creative Business 3, which does the Final Fantasy 14 story. So I'm already expecting the story to be good, but the lack of RPG.
The story is very good,
which gave me the side eye because he does the Final Fantasy 14 story, which I absolutely adore. So I know the story will be good in 16. It's just where the RPG elements, but I'll try it when it comes to PC and I'll give my review.
All right. Sounds good to me. But yeah, Dune 2 was fucking phenomenal. I saw it on Sunday and I need to go see it again. But I also don't want to leave my house. So when do you think that's coming to DVD? Like June or something?
I mean, they it's probably about like 90 days after a movie release. They start at the most 90 days at this point. If the kind of stinks, it kind of goes earlier, I guess, to try to get it through its like cycle, and then they can get the financials out of the way if a movie's bad. But if it's good, it stays in the theater a bit longer. This one, of course, is excellent. So this should stay in the theaters a little bit longer and then finally go to digital. So I'm thinking, yeah, probably about July, I think it may show up on digital.
Sweet. Yeah, because let me tell you something. I saw that movie Miller's Girl for Jenna Ortega. It should have never been in theaters because that movie is not very good. But it showed up on streaming like a month later. So
yeah, if it doesn't do good, let's get this on out of here. We ain't even gonna wait. Put it on digital and we're gonna act like it don't exist.
Exactly, because she definitely did not even promote it because she knows that it's not good. But anyway,
that's better than bad mouthing, and you get blackballed for that.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. First of all,
you see what I sent you?
Dakota Johnson is not a good actor. We can start there.
No,
but she's not wrong about what she said. All right.
No, she's not true. But also, I remember Jamie Foxx being blackballed in Hollywood for like 2 or 3 years because he did a rom-com with Gabrielle Union, and he said it was a trash movie on like one of those late night shows. And he admitted later on, he was like, that was one of the worst mistakes I ever made in my career. Because he didn't have to say that. Like, he was on the show to promote the movie, and he said it was it's a stupid rom-com, and he didn't even want to talk about it. And the thing is that it's like what he said wasn't true. I mean, I'm sorry, what he said was true, and what Dakota Johnson said about Madam Web absolutely was true. But this is your job. These are business partners. Part of the reason why it sucked is that you're a bad actress. So, not saying that you could like elevate a trash script like most actors can't, but you are part of the reason why it sucks. So you can't just be like throwing everyone else under the bus and expect to still be able to do business. Because when other production companies and other studios are looking for people to work with, if it doesn't turn out to be they don't know if it's going to turn out to be a great movie or not. But when your name comes up, they're going to be like, yeah, we ain't hiring her. Because if it sucks, we know what she's going to do.
I agree, but they also just need to. She sucks as an act. Like, she's a terrible actor in my
Yeah,
opinion.
she should just like never be the headliner of anything.
Ever again. Like, she sucks, but she's not wrong about what she said, because apparently that movie was a troll, and you could tell from the trailers it wasn't going to be good. All right, you could tell when a movie's going to be good or not most of the time. So, but anyway, daylight savings is upon us, bitches. Finally, fucking hell, dude. The sun is shining on my skin. That seasonal depression is sinking into the abyss as regular depression takes its place. And yeah, great show. Anyway, thanks so much for being on the show, guys. I saw Dune Part 2, 10 out of 10. Go see it. Oh, see Dune Part 1 first. It's on Max, aka HBO. That movie's
Luca,
fucking amazing. Yes?
you got to stop calling these episodes minisodes because they never turn to be.
Oh,
Well, the moment she doesn't do that is the moment it will be one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And you're right to say it, Singer. You're right. You're right.
Every single time you see minisode, 2 hours later, hey, what's up?
Yes. Well, I'm probably going to get jumped in my replies again. No worries,
Oh, Lord.
though. I do want to say this. At the end of the day, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And I would rather get along with people and be cool with people than anything else. And that is all I will say about anything happening.
Jesus Christ. This Jigglypuff just ran.
Guys, I hit my knee on like my table and I like fucking bruised my shit up, dude. Like, I'm old, man. I am falling apart. Anyway, I know it's only gonna get worse from here. So you guys have a good night. Slow-mo.
Great show as usual. Check out DPS podcast on the DPS channel. Really appreciate it if you do that and play some games. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good one.
All right. Thoughtful.
Yeah, great show. Same thing that Slow-mo just said. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the games that you're playing, and have a good weekend.
All right. And then Singer.
Great show, great panel. The same thing that Slow-mo and Forte said. And yeah, enjoy your games and see you later.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Bye, guys. Love you guys.